Franklin?
Here.
Sharon?
Here.
Carpenter? Rob?
Here.
Post?
Here.
Oh, yeah, last utility. You're big. You're gonna make an impact tonight. No change. On non-agenda items. Anyone? Number 3, city clerk, March 10th, 2025 utility meeting. Should have it.
Michelle, I have a minor change under my report. Item C, the nonprofit grants in the second paragraph, it just reads a little funny. We were wanting to know if there was interest in increasing the total grant amount by $2,500, so it would be $7,500 per grant. Not, it kind of reads like the total is $2,500.
Yep, I agree.
Okay.
So it should be, yeah, I'll change that.
Yeah, it's been 5,000 and we increased it to 7,500 at the meeting after this.
Thank you.
Michelle, I have a small one as well. Under my report, D as in dog, special thanks to the line crew and street crew. They both did their fair share.
Anything else? Rob, good run the meeting. Meeting minutes. Mr. Katie. Tina, the second, Ross. Roll call.
Sharon?
Yes.
Carpenter?
Yes.
Rob?
Yep.
Post? Vote? Jeff Bittner?
Yes.
Hopkins? Franklin?
Yes. Meeting minutes to approve. Number 4, subdivision zoning administrator.
Sign up his license on his user. Did you get
Alrighty, so March was very busy for me. I did issue 20 permits, 4 residential, 6 accessory, 1 commercial, 6 excavation, and 3 signs. There was both these, one on Benny Court and one on Forbes. Both are close to 3,000 square foot. One. And then again, Quill Ridge and Natalie Estates. And I forgot the square footage on that one on Forbes. But the Natalie Estates one is 2,900 square foot as well. accessory permits on Mockingbird Lane. I don't know if you can see the red square on the bottom, but they're just adding a patio cover over a concrete slab. And Janice Drive is installing an in-ground pool. It was, not very strong, so it's not making, there was one there. 909 Oak Creek is getting a finished basement. I highlighted the area that is being finished. It's a living area, bathroom, and a bedroom. And then 104 Becky is also getting a patio cover. 306 Walnut it's a rental, so they're really remodeling a lot, really the whole thing. But their main concern was the 2 bathrooms, one upstairs and one on the main floor. So they got a permit for those 2. And then 626 Joe Creek Trail is getting a shed. Commercial,
I got about the HOA agreement for several of them.
225 East 3rd Street, they're doing self-power modifications at the jail. Just updating some equipment. Excavation permits, Illinois Avenue, Aiden Drive, Jenny Court, Becky Drive, Mary Drive, Morrison Avenue, Church Street, and Covington Drive. A little bit of septic, a little bit of fiber, a little bit of everything. They all came in different days. Sign permits, Logos and Stitches had their grand opening last Saturday, and their signs, they're one on the side and one on the front. Then Zira also installed their sign right on the corner. And Champions Corner is going to have a sign on the front, a sign on the back, and then the pylon monument sign as well. For April so far, we have a planning commission meeting tonight. We're going over 4 separate annexations. One for 745 North Market, which is going to be residential. It is currently residential, it's going to stay residential. Well, it's going to be a home. It's going to be zoned B3. 751 is going to be zoned B3 as well, which is going to be a state farm business. Dennis has this 15.22 acres, which is connected to Legacy. He's going to rezone that into agricultural, which is going to be a single family home. And then he's also doing Romont Phase 7. I've got 5 residential permits going, 3 signs, and 1 commercial currently. And I don't remember why I added Bellridge on there, so I'll have to get back to you about that one. That was my fault. That is all that I have.
Quick question
Yes.
on, last slide, there you go. The State Farm, 751 North Market. So that had an asphalt drive, so you took that one out, that's one where you got access to
Yes.
the Desco property. If they're gonna be annexed in and then go back to a hard top
Yes.
drive?
And they plan on doing that.
Okay. And will they eventually get a sign, or is it?
They eventually, yeah, they originally didn't know they were in county, and they applied for a signs permit with the city, and that's how they found out that the needed to be rezoned into the city from the county. So they're doing this first and then the sign, not using the Jeep forever. Yes.
So, the sign, maybe I should know this, maybe I shouldn't, I don't know. The sign requirements change on a building that's not a house, or was a house, or is it rewrite?
Yeah, it'll be.
Just like zoning.
So, I think once it's zoned business, it won't matter that it was built as originally a house, and the sign will stay the same. Yep. The one was purchased with the plans to live in it as far as we know, but it's still going to be zoned B3. Any other questions?
Thank you.
Yeah.
Deputy Director, Jeff.
Okay. Trying to get screen sharing, so see how it works here. So a big part is overseeing the West Third Street project. And it's going well. They've been working on the north side of the street. Today, they actually started demolition on the south side of the street. While I'm working on it, I'll just describe it. The big things was to make sure that retail stayed open. So we did pour a stronger concrete so they can keep their access to the parking lot open and their semi-truck be able to use it. Most of the curbs done on the north side. They had to leave gaps where storm sewer is going to go in. We're kind of jumped ahead because it takes them about 3 weeks to get structures and pipe in. I think they're getting it from county material. So instead of putting in the storm system first and then curbs, they skipped ahead, did the curbings on the north side, left spots open, and we're thinking that pipe's coming this week. So
How big is it pipe?
depends, some's 18-inch. I think the biggest is only like 24.
Yeah, yeah.
So try this one more time. Here we go. And this is today. There's a couple easements that I still need to get 2 easements on the left side of the street, and one lady on the right said she'd sign it. She's just not coming to the city hall to get it. So the first issue we have with easements is this White House on the right.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, that one. They hired an attorney to go over our documents. So I actually emailed Tony at the end of the day. Jay Hush had some comments. I don't think it's a big deal. So we'll get it reviewed and then sent back out. There's 3 inheritances of this jewel. And we hopefully get all of them to sign it here shortly. So
Is someone looking at that now?
no, I'm not, I don't think so.
When I recently talked to one of the inheritance, he said no. There's no one living in
Yeah. Just looking from the outside, it looks like it's kind of hasn't been lived in a long time. So, the next one that I have an issue with an easement is this house right here on Salisbury and 3rd Street. The owner of the prop, well, the mom passed away and the son and daughter got the house. And they hired a surveying company, I won't name names, JR. And they claimed that after they were done surveying that this property owner owns 6 foot of this alley. And we have plats that dated back in 1800 showing a 20-foot wide alley with no vacation of. So HMG's doing their diligence, and we're all going to get together next Tuesday and get a resolution with them. But pretty certain that the 6 foot's probably an error.
The block is still street.
So,
He's reclaimed his part by putting concrete blocks into the alley.
yeah. And as we go along, they've been pouring time back into the residents on the north side. And you can see the gap on the left, that's where a storm drain's going to go. they finished up the staircase. They're doing a really good job for us. And, no issues, so. Any questions with Third Street? It's going smooth. Besides that, just briefly, I want to discuss the West Rose drainage. The gentleman said he got everything cleaned up again last weekend. So he cleaned it up. We went out there, wasn't real happy with it. He said he cleaned it up again. So we'll have it. I haven't looked at it, but I think we'll take a team out there. We'll go over it. We'll present it next Monday. If that's okay. Jim, you're the chairman, correct?
Yes.
Is that okay? And then Tony's ready to execute the whatever transition of the property.
Which is pretty lengthy, right? We were ready to do that.
So, besides that, beautification committee, Tina, I'm thinking about next Monday as well. It'll be a real quick one. The Jabal one that we approved, he wants to add on to it. As you know, it has the Hugs awning in the front. He wants to do black standing seam and make it look a little more attractive. So, I'll have to go through it and see how it all works out. I know we're getting close to that 1 year deadline, so we'll.
He had the extension too, right?
He's already on his extension.
Yeah, just let me know what time.
Okay. Besides that, I've been working with Cole Moore, who's our new lead for the underground department. You know, as you know, there's a lot of water sampling on the distribution side. Just keeping up with it and trying to help out with them. And things are going well. The bi-monthly back teas have been successful, no issues with that. We have quarterly TCHM samples. The next one will be May 8th. And we're going to get into the lead copper samples. We have 60 sample sites that have or potentially have lead whips or galvanized. So we'll have to do samples, 5 samples at each location twice a year. And the deadline for that's end of June. So we're planning on getting some letters out and work on this week. And our plan is to, hopefully they all have spigots outside. We can just go up to it, fill up our jars, and move on with our day. So a big part of this is Market Street, which we will be working on replacing the main in the next couple of years, and that'll eliminate probably 2/3 of it. So there's a junk main, so you kind of take care of a few things at one time. Any questions?
Was that survey crew on Rose Lane, is that ours or no?
Do you make it?
Yeah, but you didn't really say.
So I did so. About a year ago, I ordered a survey for West Rose because we wanted to see what the basin elevation was of the retention
How
area.
was that happening?
But they never, I would have canceled it because it's kind of irrelevant now at this point since we're taking it over. So, they haven't even called me yet about it, so I'll have to reach out and I'll have an update at the drainage committee on that. Eric?
Any update on alley issues, South Market, Morrison, between there?
No, I haven't asked them to put any signs up yet. And I haven't been on it, to look at, Natalie Estates either.
Yeah, two things going on.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, one of the questions. Tequilas, they still got the RP lumber wrap on the outside of the building. Is that still within? Seems like it's been a long time.
Yes.
I did send an email to Mike Thomas asking if he had a date on getting the brick on.
Okay.
He said they're trying to get caught up, and hopefully soon that's up.
Okay.
I think initially put you off because of temperature.
Yeah.
Well, it wasn't a very good excuse, but at least he had an excuse. Next. Director of Public Works.
All right. We should have a brief outline what I'm going to discuss here. First, Nathan on the surgery update. I will say Nathan and Eager Concrete are getting after it out there, so they were able to start right away. Good news. Keep moving forward, which brings me to the next project is 4th Street and Flower Street. Finalizing design on those projects, and then we'll have those out to bid here shortly, so that will move from 3rd Street onto those pretty soon. I don't know yet, so I need to review some of the budgets on that. I'd like to.
We had money in this year's budget that we didn't spend. Having most of those actually from all three of
This year, we get them out this year. And I guess our next big project that will be coming up here pretty soon, we have a bid opening tomorrow afternoon at 2 o'clock for our new turbine generator. It will be delivered in August. Initially had a late June, early July. It got bumped back a little bit because of production out in San Diego. But we're still planning on having it commercially available at the end of this year, early next year, so we can get some credits finalized for next year with INDA and MISO. So that's kind of exciting. We're working through that. We continue with the city's responsibilities. We got the transformers, and we're kind of, I'll say, lay down area for our transformers, just our stock. I got the concrete done on that, putting up shelving so we can double stack some of our ground mount transformers. That shelving's going up last week and into this week. And then most of you seen it on Facebook. We have 2 planned outages in order to connect some of the underground wiring that we moved. 2 planned outages on the 24th, which is next Thursday, I believe. So I think we've got that pretty much covered between social media, and then the crews are going out confirming what residents will be down or businesses, and also we're mailing and then getting out letters as well as they go out and finalize things. All right, and then the next is the water treatment facilities update. We continue to make minor adjustments with the operation, fine tuning some of the chemistry in that. And where we're currently seeing the water hardness is about 170 and 180. I initially reported that we would like to be around 150. However, I contacted some of the business owners and residents that reached out to me on the onset of this, and we're finding that we are softer than what our prior water source was. That was kind of confirmed, I would say kind of was confirmed on the sample we took the day we switched over. And you'll see on the bottom here, you'll see the hydro flow. The website below, East St. Louis is where the water plant is for Illinois American. They were at 210 according to this data, milligrams per liter. We have been monitoring just so I have record of it and have better understanding so I can make good decisions. We did monitor some of the other water sources, and we're finding somewhere around 220-ish as far as hardness. So we want to be, somewhere in that range, but we're looking at trying to get to be in that 180 range, because it will fluctuate from well to well a little bit. So in that 180 range right now, I think we'll be happy. again, contacted some of the business owners and residents that voiced some concerns at these meetings and reached out to me, and things much better is what I've been hearing, so it's good news there. Well number 2, we do have a solution on well number 2. The screen that's currently in the ground is too wide, too big. The opening's too big, the sand is getting through. So what they're proposing to do at the well driller's expense is to put a new screen in the bottom, and then they'll also put 2 inches of these glass beads, here in my hand, 2 inches of glass beads around that screen. It'll be a little bit smaller, obviously diameter, but we'll still get the same flow rates, or achieve the flow rates that we need. I forgot to take this down. Sit these down that way, if you don't mind. What's that? All the places that we will pass. See how they taste? Sorry, I forgot to pass those out when I was talking about So you'll see in the little samples here, you'll see the silica sand is this finer material, and then the other one that's more brown is the byproduct from the softening system that everything attaches to as the That's correct. It's kind of interesting to see the size of that. Alright. And then once well 2 is done with the screen and the glass beads, they're going to check wells 1 and 3 as well. To make sure that everything is kosher on those wells. Just get a good feeling of there. And then something exciting, we are nearing producing 100 million gallons of water. Hopefully later, not hopefully later this week, anticipate later this week. You'll see that on the bottom. Down here. 98 million gallons. There on lines. So very exciting. You there? Next item here on the list, unless anybody has any questions on water facilities.
We were in a plan for 3 months without proper softening, correct? Roughly.
2.5.
Right. Hey, do you have any idea what that does to the life of the older filters?
I don't think they have any idea. Yeah. I mean, we're at our backwashing, operation out there at the plant. Yeah. I mean, we are backwashing on a regular basis.
Right.
Anything else on the facilities? Okay, the next thing I have is a wholesale connection agreement between the city of Waterloo, IDA, and Ameren. This is the transmission lines that we're using on Ameren that bring the power to the city of Waterloo. From what I understand, there's not an agreement in place, so they're implementing these now. It's a 15-year term. City attorney group has reviewed it. I have a copy here if anyone wants to review it. 60-something pages. I didn't think it was worthwhile to bring every one of them off, but I will bring this to City Council next Monday night for approval on next
So we
week.
packet.
That's correct.
Have we ever had that before?
From what I understand, we have not. It is to protect the city and IDA and
And I ain't getting good. Who did that?
Ameren drew it up, IMEA's attorney has reviewed it, they've gone back and forth on some stuff. I couldn't tell you how many municipalities have already signed it, but quite a few of them already have. This is a single point connection, there's other municipalities that have multi-point connection. So they're trying to finalize a single point connection, and not two, we are a single point connection. Other noteworthy items, staffing, let Tricia talk about that here in a little bit. That's been going really well. Next week, I will be attending the IMEA meeting, the 23rd and 24th. And then there's an annual conference that I'll attend in May, and that's in Springfield. And then we're just finalizing our budget process. Anybody have any questions, comments, concerns?
Perfect, thank you.
You're welcome.
Building inspector? Thank you.
Sweet granules.
Jordan, they work on your water leaks?
I assume they came out and sort of stuff March. Yep. So whatever, it was a water.
I didn't get confirmation. It looked like it was surface line.
That's what I was figuring, it's that have the fine on the there. Well, the old March. That's right there. Yeah.
Water mains don't run too often across the road. Right there, my surface line.
Cool.
Like that?
So now I'm over turning on water stuff.
I can do the construction detail, both you can all.
No, I don't want to.
Just bueno.
Okay.
It's bueno. Come on, Brad. Burning daylight.
So good.
Oh my God.
Gross for that.
Oh. You just got to sit there.
You just described as what was there, right?
What's that?
I can't, I don't have to.
Yeah.
Inside.
Sorry.
All right, well, the first thing I want to talk about, we already had a lot of phone calls on it, we get blasted on social media about it, is Desco Group, the Taco Bell, ATI, the potholes. So I contacted Desco Group after I talked to them, they said they're getting bids. I told them, you guys gotta come up with a temporary fix. Especially by McDonald's, there's a lot of hubcaps and everything missing. All people starting on their land out there, so I did get them out, patch it, and I had some pictures of it patched. And I told them I want a date when it's gonna get fixed, permanent. Because they've been telling me that for the last 2 years. So I told them, I said, I'm start writing tickets that they don't keep up with it. Because I got better things to do out there, find potholes and contact them again, so.
Actually, the potholes that we are on, the holes on both sides, we didn't mind it.
Because one day it was raining, I said, you guys need to do something. And they said water was an issue, which we put asphalt in when it's flat. So got those fixed. Then I've been in talks with Hardee's and KFC. So KFC said they're always the one that passes the east. It splits down the middle. So I told him, I said, you guys need to get together and get this fixed. He said they were hoping to do it when KFC got remodeled, but it didn't happen. So I said, whatever, get together. He said he always is the one to fix it. Hardee's never wants to pitch in. So I got in contact with them and they're trying to work that out. Like I said, PR has been getting a ton of calls about it, so we're just trying to get it out there that it is not city property. That's everybody's like, why don't you guys get out there and get it fixed? It's not
Okay, it's just more like you, having problems repaired all the time.
Yes. But I talked to the guy at Hardee's today, and he said he will get with KFC, get it worked out, so we'll see what happens. Like I said, it's been going on since I've been here, and it's hardly anything done about it, so. I've contacted someone to get, 319 North Library cleaned up. It's the one that got condemned. It's got a ton of trash in the front, the backyard, and taking care for the neighbors, keep looking at it.
319.
North Library,
Mhm.
down by the old pool. I mean, there's tree limbs and stuff all over, and like I said, take care for the neighbors. I think it's gonna go into foreclosure, so it's gonna be a lot for us to do anything done about it. You know, get them taken. So I'm having that cleaned up this week. Another problem property is 123 Jefferson. I've got a ton of calls, I had more last year. I did get in contact with the bank. They're gonna hopefully stay on that, those walk people this year. I did have an interesting.
What's that?
Are we getting close on that? 123 now?
Well, they just began the foreclosure action in Monroe County, but I did get a call today from an interested buyer who's also a resident in the city of Waterloo, wanting to get some information on a lien. I believe that gentleman is going to be reaching out to, the owner, Mr. Butler, to see if something could be negotiated with the bank. That would obviously streamline the process tremendously because foreclosure actions take so much time. And as of right now, though, with the foreclosure action, the bank has not obtained good service on the owner. So they named 2 people in the lawsuit, but they only named 1 person because that person has homestead rights. So even though that person isn't listed on the deed or the mortgage note, they were married at one time, so she is listed in the lawsuit. But just the husband, and he unfortunately is not living in Waterloo, he's not in the state of Illinois right now. So the bank is trying to locate him, but if this other gentleman is able to get in touch with him, they'll streamline the process, right?
So I did have some pictures too of an interesting one I had on Main Street, South Main. I had some pallets, some old lumber and stuff, and I sent him a notice and he cleaned it up. And I actually ran into him on the street one day for driving through to see me clean it up. So he told me that I have no right to enforce city ordinances. I may burn his natural resources. I explained, I said, sir, I didn't make you burn anything. It said you needed to remove it or enclose it. You didn't have to burn it. But he told me that I didn't have the right, that state law would proceed our city ordinances.
Did you burn it on the right day?
Yes, he did burn it on the right day. But I just thought that was interesting. He told me I had no right to make him burn this natural resource. Like I said, I didn't tell him he didn't burn it, but I just thought that was fun. What else do I have? I had a car on Neal Street, I believe, Jim, you had someone contact you about that. In the yard, that did get removed.
Thank you.
And that house is also getting cleaned up, because I've got a ton of complaints on that. Other than that, that's about all I have. Any questions?
I got a question, it might be more dramatic, I guess. Is there anything new on Dale Church?
On what now? Gary and I were just talking about that, actually, I wrote it down, see if I can give you guys a status on it, but we're just kind of at their mercy right now.
Looks like someone has mowed the grass there recently.
I didn't notice that, but.
At least they're keeping up with that.
Hey Brad. Yeah. At the last meeting, you brought up tin shed diesel. You got anything with that?
We're gonna be talking about that soon.
I'm just curious.
Now, yeah, we've been talking about the ordinances, so we are gonna touch base on it.
Right.
Yeah. Ten shed diesel, we talk any more about that.
Okay.
We've had a lot going on, so we just.
Yeah, we brought it up, we talked about an ordinance meeting, like I said, we had like 4 meetings last month.
So that's why
and it just wasn't nice.
Didn't want to make sure it just didn't get figured out.
No, it didn't.
Oh, man.
I'm here.
Whenever you are.
The first thing I want to note was the elimination of the 50-cent recycling surcharge that they started back in 2018. It first was 60 cents, and it was lowered to 50 cents in 2021. He said there's no sign of recycling getting any cheaper. It's just costs have gone up, and he was just proposing to include the surcharge into the regular rate that we charge per month. So then the contract that he's given us is a 5-year contract, May 1 of 2025 to April 30th, 2030, with a trash and recycling rate of $18.98. The new rate reflects a 2.2% increase, 41 cents on the trash and recycled rate. The CPI for 2024 was 3%, so he's getting a slight discount from what he could have charged. The past contracts did say that it would be a 3% of the annual CPI, whatever was greater, so. The once per week pickup of trash and once per week of recycled stay the same. The large pickup, 4 times per year, limited to 2 items per household. So the current, right now, each household is being charged $18.77. It's gonna go up to $19.18 with the proposed rate.
I don't bring this up because in 2018, they increased basically a fee because recycling went up very quickly. So it actually hasn't come down. So rather than continue that with basically he just rolled it into the rate. So it is an increase other than the CPI that you know.
Correct.
But it actually changes the way we get billed for it. So we just want to make sure that everybody's okay with that.
I am very encouraged with a 5-year contract. That's nice. Make it up.
This was for just an FYI and make sure that everybody knew what was actually happening.
The next,
So we have a 2.2% increase this year,
correct,
then every other year it would be 3% or higher,
yes,
based on CPI.
correct.
He actually uses it, I think he uses a Midwest CPI, he uses a different CPI than we do, or so.
The next thing is our cleaning service. So we're known as cleaning service. What we do for a raise in May, they historically got a raise, they won it every year last year. They were given a 4.5% increase. And I would see if the city council wanted to do an increase this year.
Are you okay with that increase? Joel?
Yeah, I've never talked about
Matt?
that.
Yes.
Agree?
We have a number of days that they clean. We do not.
No,
So it stays the same.
Everything's all the same.
if they still come back, it's
Okay.
Locus. So currently, we have 9 users on our Locus licenses. We need to increase that number. We would like to increase that number because we have a lot more people who would like to use Locus to look up of our administration. Who would like to access Locus to be able to look up different reports or residents' usage. And JR would like to use it for, to look at usage and billing for residents. Nathan uses it. Roberta, it's a good resource for her to get to use. Currently, we are maxed out. With billing officer, the priority to get to use the Locus, and myself. So there's one spare license right now that everybody else can apply for, and when somebody's logged in, the other person cannot log into it. It is a increase of $2,711 a year to go from 9 licenses, what we currently have, to 15.
15?
Yeah, so then all of us would be able to, who would use it? There would still be extra licenses there that we would not necessarily need to
So in the previous administration, basically the business office and the budget collector office was the people that actually used Locust. A lot of other people in the office could have used Locust, but didn't go that way. So instead of Sarah going to someone else's office in order to have to look up stuff, she can actually do that on her own. Ask TFJ or anybody else who actually wants to use Locust.
I think that's great, Michael. So there's 5 in the office, Sarah 6, who's the other 2?
We have Kelly, JR.
And well, Tricia has to use it for payroll, so she's an automatic user too.
Okay, so Tricia and then Kelly, that's 8.
We have the software, we use the depth license to actually use it.
Sounds like you need it, so.
We do need it.
Okay.
Okay?
We talked about the grocery sales tax last month, and I didn't know if anybody had any questions about it or if we wanted to discuss that anymore. Since we talked about it, Natalie and I did contact, the local tax district, and they said that it can be turned on and off every 6 months with the change of the ordinance. I don't believe that we'll know what the difference is, and we should get a separate check from what I gathered whenever I contacted them, they said it should be a separate, deposit that we get from them, so we should have an idea of what we're getting from it. So,
So if we go ahead and enact this, do that for a period of 6 months, at the end of 6 months, we're actually going to know how much it is. Whether that's something that we want to continue or discontinue, but unless we do something, we're not gonna know what that amount is.
Right, and we can, contrary to how the law is written, you can implement it with 40% ignorance up to 1%.
correct.
1% now, we could do 40% after,
Yes, that is accurate.
right, which is not clear in the law.
So I wasn't here last month, but I did watch the meeting, and so I caught up on the conversations around it. But some of it was hard to hear on Facebook, watching the meeting, but did pretty well. Questions I have, I guess, are what are excluded and excluded on this? As far as when we had to do this for school board, there were certain things that were not included as part of that tax. That was actually voted on by the public in the county, so we have that 1% sales tax. So is this groceries, or pharmaceuticals included, water,
Right now,
alcohol, beverage?
We don't actually know.
right now, the tax is medical supplies, RX, and grocery, that's how we're receiving the 1% sales tax, that's everything that's included in it.
So the actual retailer can decide what they're going to put in those categories. So we don't actually know what it is. That's why they can't tell us how much that tax is because we don't, Walmart does something different than Walgreens. They can, depending on what they put in which category.
And also coded correctly at the commercial level to setting up the state and then coming out tax.
What businesses are included in this? So you mentioned Walmart, Walgreens.
And I would have to double check with that, I would assume that gas stations, will be charged.
Actually, grocery tax, so anything can actually go into probably consumables.
Which prepared food, I'm assuming would not be.
So if we don't get that breakdown, I'm not sure that we know. But if we enact it, we're at the end of the period, we're on in the.
We have to make that call by August, is that right?
No, we have till October 1st is when we have to have it submitted to the state.
Right.
That's so that it goes into effect in January.
And this was actually, just to recap, this was a tax that the state said, we're going to eliminate, but municipalities, if you want to keep it, you can keep it.
Correct.
So it wasn't actually voted on by residents through the tax. It was just the state said we could keep it. There's been lawsuits or legal actions that said this is legal to do.
I'm not sure, this is so new, I'm not sure of the status of the lawsuits that are taking place right now, I've not looked into that, I'll be happy to do so. But it is something that is being pushed by the state on municipalities if they want to continue it. Yes.
And the state is processing fee or processing the funds that come to them. So if there's $100 in taxes that are collected that goes to the state, does the state take a small percentage of that for processing fees? And we get $100 minus whatever that processing fee is?
We don't know that. We don't know that.
Yeah, I mean, that's a fair assessment, but
Again, that's what happens with the other one. So, I just think there's a lot of questions, and I'm not saying we aren't doing our due diligence, I'm saying there's a lot of questions that you guys some of these answers to.
So keeping in mind that taxes, people are paying that tax today. They haven't been paying that tax for many years.
So I don't think it's something that the public is going to notice per se, because it's something that's already in effect. So the only one that will apologize.
The one was, there's two thoughts. And one, in the meeting I did watch, there was a comment made that people do have a hard time paying their bills, a certain percentage. So any relief we can give them, should we look to do that? And choose to look at it. So the state says, everyone taxes people within something. I don't know if that actually is. Right.
Well, no, and I agree with you, and I understand that. I guess we won't know what type of impact it has on us as a city if we don't at least maintain the status quo by implementing it and continuing it on at least the first 6 months. So we won't really know what we're missing out on as a city, what we're giving up for our taxpayers, unless we continue it. So it's difficult as a catch-22, you're right.
Yeah. It's ridiculous that the state can't give us a ballpark of what we're actually expecting to receive. Just ridiculous. Because any tax referendum you send out that you have a kind of ballpark what you expect to get by passing that tax referendum. It's just
You also, I mean,
what a bad spot.
for Walmart stuff, that's not city residents of Orleans that pay their tax.
That's the only
That's
right spot I
a
see.
lot of places. So, in fact, you're not just taxing the state, but large residents.
That's the only price class.
Right.
And if if you go and you're not gonna notice that difference anyways as a consumer, you might as well for 6 months see what we can get,
Exactly.
see what it is, yeah.
I am, as a posting online, I'm reading it, I'm just looking at municipalities that have reported this in relationship to their population. It could be estimated annual loss, $250,000 to $500,000. If I'm just looking at similar size population
I
municipalities.
think we're rather in a unique position because we have 6% of Walmart, knows that stuff, although they're just looked at it. In Columbia, I know that the enormous amount of people come from Columbia actually to shop for stuff because it's so different. We also don't have a work team in our surrounding areas. We're drawing a lot of tax, we're drawing a lot of sales from our surrounding area that would be normal for, say, Columbia or Red Bud.
Hey, Walmart shoppers, Depot, and M11. The residents from the Depot area, Cahokia area would go to the Cahokia Walmart, so that's shut down, and a lot of people come to this location. Yes, to come here to shop at Walmart.
So just and I get it, and knowing that we are gathering tax from outside of our own consumer-based decisions, that's the right spot.
Yeah, right.
The legality is still something that.
And I think we'll see more litigation when it goes into effect. I think everyone is having these debates and asking these same questions right now.
I understand there's a whole bunch of things that there are currently violations going on in regards to this.
That's fair.
I currently am working on budgets, it's not happening, it's just going a little bit slower for me, I'm trying to make sure I'm doing things in the right manner, and just trying to get caught up on all of the normal day-to-day, still learning everything, so, I pretty much amended budgets squared away, and I need to go through JR and the mayor this week with our FY 26 budget, to kind of iron some things out, so I hope to have drafts and stuff to you guys very soon.
Any questions? Thank you. Sarah?
Yep. Well, thank you guys. All right. So the first thing I wanted to just follow up on the iCash event that we had here at City Hall on March 16th, from 3 to 6. They had a great success here in Waterloo. There wasn't a moment in that probably 2:30 to 6:30 period they went long, that there weren't people waiting in the lobby to see the representative from the state treasurer's office. So I kind of just asked her what the results on their end were, and they actually had, in that amount of time, 25 attendees, 57 name searches, and they started 12 claims for the people that were here to collect that, the cash and property that is due to them. So they asked if we would like to host another one, since there was such a need there that they saw. So I said, yeah, sure, let's have one in the fall. So we're going to have them come back on September 24th. Again, from 3 to 6, since it seemed to be a good time frame. It gave people the chance if they had to work to come after work. So I think that's a really positive thing for our residents. So we will have them back and hopefully find some more missing unused properties for our residents. The second thing I just wanted to bring out, I passed out to you a draft of a social media public use policy. For tonight, this is just for you to review. We'll discuss at another meeting. But more and more municipalities are putting these kinds of policies in place. It just helps set clear expectations around how the public can engage with us on our social media platforms. And as we're seeing, it's a great communication tool, but it comes with certain challenges as far as inappropriate comments, slander, misinformation that is spread. So this is just a way for us to put a clear guideline as to how we're going to handle that. So like I said, review it. Natalie has reviewed it already. I don't know if you want to add anything or if you want to wait till we discuss it any further.
I edited it. Sarah sent it to me quite a while ago. I went through, I redlined it, I added some things, looked at what other municipalities were using. The whole idea behind this, I think, is to make people think twice and also implement that we are always representing the city. And I think it puts some guidelines in place. And I'll be happy to answer any questions of what this means long-term for the city, implementation. Just let me know and I'll be happy to talk to you.
Yeah, and I know this is the first year seeing it, so like I said, just wanted to bring it up, give you a hard copy to review, and we'll set a time to discuss in further detail. So, just wanted to bring that to your attention. The next thing, unless anybody has any questions right now on it, just general, I know you haven't had time to read through it, but no, okay. We had the first Pumpkin Fest Planning Committee meeting last week. Already receiving tons of calls and messages from vendors wanting to get signed up. So went ahead and had our first meeting, and we will open that registration on April 28th. So just in a couple weeks. It fills up very quickly. A couple of changes that the committee wanted to make this year. For the last 12 years, the vendor fee has been $35. So as our expenses are increasing as well for the entertainment, they wanted to increase that to $50 per space, which is still very low. They kind of asked what some of the other vendor events cost or charge, it's upwards of like $100 usually, so we're still very low at the $50 mark. And then increasing the electric usage from $10 per space up to $20. And really the reason for that is because they are so far and few between. Some of our vendors, they just pay the extra $10 because they want that spot, not necessarily that they need the electric. So then that kind of takes it from somebody that really does need the electric. So just trying to fine tune things. And then also we're gonna put in 3 spaces per vendor this year because we just want to make sure that as many individual vendors are allowed to participate that want to. And sometimes we have people taking 4, 5, 6 spaces at a time, and that doesn't make that possible. So we're gonna give a max of 3 spaces per vendor this year. If that sounds okay to you all.
Who's the committee? I'm sorry, I don't know.
So it's a bunch of individuals from our local businesses. So it's a lot of the.
Oh, you're on it. Yeah.
A lot of local banks have representatives. We have, people that have been on it for years that just keep helping. A lot of the volunteers that you see that are there that day make up the committee. I can give you a list. I don't want to name them off the top of my head and then miss somebody, but I can get you a list back.
Thank you.
Yep. Do you want to be on it?
Say yes.
How many meetings we talking?
Not many.
Well, what about, so you were just running this by us, but we don't get you through anything?
Well, this is what the committee is recommending, the planning committee, based on what we. Yeah, if you want to recommend something different, I can take it to the committee and suggest something.
I'm just saying, just leave it at $35.
Okay.
The community runs it, we're doing great, I mean, it's a great thing, we were talking about we could squeeze, why we
Yeah.
$15.
Well.
I don't think it's necessarily that we need the additional money. It's to actually prevent people from taking spaces that they don't need, which prevents other people from getting them.
Well, the free space limit of that.
Still, brother, you make it $100 a day.
Yeah.
And they sell it, and we don't do zero.
Yeah, that was one of the issues we had last year is that, and it's a rule on our form, but there's no way to really know what is happening, but we had people showing up that weren't on our list, but it's because another vendor had bought the spaces and then said, oh yeah, you can have one of my spaces, and then they showed up and we didn't know who they were. So it caused a little bit of chaos that it's already a chaotic morning anyway, and that just added to it, so just trying to prevent things like that from happening, but, no, we can talk after and I can see whatever, but that's just what the committee had kind of, talked about and discussed for changes for this year. And our expenses for all of our entertainment have gone up. We've still been able to cover everything. This is always a break-even event. We don't want to make money on it. It's something that we do for the community and to bring people into the city as a tourism thing. So, but we're getting closer to that line where our entertainment is getting more and more expensive. That's everything is these days. So.
Oh, and the cost of the medals and the trophies.
Yeah, well, and we've cut back on our advertising because as the event has continued on through the years, we don't need as much. People know about it and it's always the same weekend, so we have to cut back on that too. So that's saving us a little bit more of the expense. But yeah, that's kind of where the update on that. Anything else on that? Okay. We've been getting some advertising requests for other upcoming events. I will plan an economic development committee meeting to discuss Songs for Soldiers in Port Westfalica. But one has a deadline for this week, so I wanted to bring it up tonight. We have talked about it in the past, but they sent the thing again this year. It's for the Fort Deschard annual rendezvous event booklet that they make every year for the event. It's, of course, different prices for different size ads. The only time that we have done this was in 2020, because it was the 50th anniversary of the event and a 300th anniversary of the founding of the city, so it's kind of more of a commemorative thing. And last year, I know you remember we talked about it then, and we did not pursue it, thinking that it was pretty far away from Waterloo to gain any hotel motel head and bed value. So, because that's where the funds would come from, is our hotel motel tax, if we wanted to do this.
They got work for this. I didn't think we should do this, or something you fall with it.
Pass.
No, agree? Okay. And then the other sheet that I passed out were just some upcoming dates to kind of keep in your save the date calendar. A couple of events that are downtown, the Beer Accused, Firebird Fest, Memorial Day, the car show, but then the yard sale is June 7th, and that's, again, we always help with registrations on that, so. City Hall also, the parking lot, people can come and set up that maybe don't live in city limits. So we'll be working with the GLOW organization on that again. And then also, Port Westfalica will be in the parade like we always are on June 17th. The Dawn of Thrive Music Festival. And then save the date for June 24th, that's when we will do the Waterloo night. We sponsor one of the mini band concerts and hand out ice cream. So save the date for that. Oh, and I passed up June 14th. We'll be working with the police department, EMS, and fire department and hosting the Home Alone program for kids again on June 14th. So that'll be upstairs here in this room.
Remind me, what's the ages on that?
We say 9 to 14 is the ideal age for that. We don't turn anyone away, so we get a lot of siblings that are a little bit younger that might be staying home with an older sibling that the parents still like for them to attend. So we don't turn anybody away, but we say between 9 and 14 is the ideal age for that program.
3 days ain't no long.
Yeah.
The Optimus Car Show, we talked about that in our meeting last week. I don't know if we're gonna do that this year.
Oh,
Might
okay.
take a year off.
Okay.
So, we talked to Andrew, the president, or
Yeah. Okay. Any questions for me? That's all I have.
Before we leave the ICANN, I sat through that.
Okay.
And actually the numbers were higher because there was 4 or 5 people that left.
Oh, okay.
And if we could be so kind, they only had 1 representative there.
Right.
And people had to wait quite a long time to get in to their computer. So again, do what you can to bring more people from the state.
I can request it. I can see what they say.
That's all you can say.
Yeah.
If you some time to bring more, because the numbers are actually higher.
Yeah, and they probably didn't see the people leave because they, for privacy, closed the door. Yeah.
Once you get in here, it takes a little time.
Yeah, of course.
So we need more people from the state.
I will let them know.
Would be my suggestion.
Okay. I'll let them know and see what we can do. Anything else for me?
$100.
Can I borrow 50?
Okay, thank you guys.
Thank you.
Okay, so as David and JR kind of led up to, I've been working on some recruiting and hiring with them. So when I came in fairly quickly after the underground utility lead position was open, and we have hired Cole Moore in that position, and so he is now active. I was standing where Sarah was standing, I was talking her.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
I was talking loud.
So, sorry, couldn't hear you. So, we've been working on recruiting and hiring, and so the underground utility lead we hired, and that was Cole Moore, and he was interim, and now he is active in that position, which has now caused an opening as the underground operator position, and we are in the process of hiring that position. We're very close in the next few days. We should have that finalized. And then we are currently looking for summer hires, and we posted that on Facebook. We've announced it at the schools, and we've actually gotten several applications. So we have a lot of interest in those positions. And then I've been working with KnowBe4. Sarah started that process before I came on board. KnowBe4 is a cybersecurity company. They specialize in helping us manage the human element of cybersecurity training through simulation tools. And so we are set for that to roll out this week. I've notified all staff that that is happening. And all of you are included in that as well through your city emails, just so you know. So simulations will start coming, and you're not going to necessarily know it's a phishing simulation. So it's hoping to just encourage people to really pay attention to where those emails are coming from, what they're looking for, before they send out sensitive. So, and like I said, that will start this week, and then we're actually doing a phishing test first, kind of see what responses we get before we start with some of the training. So, all right, anybody have any questions?
We already have some of those in. Some of those have already been sent out.
They were not supposed to start until later this week. I had one last week, but it wasn't from them. It wasn't actual fishing, so you might be getting actual fishing.
I complained to Regis that things were getting through our email to the very few that were substantial recognition.
I had some numbers.
Right.
Yeah. So that might be through Regis, which is not KnowBe4, they're different. So these will be different. I did have one though last week as well. But that was not through this test.
Okay.
So with this, I will be getting reports, and I can see kind of who is answering and who is not on those that.
Okay.
But the one I did receive, and with me being newer too, so couldn't see their personal email. So I actually contacted them via their city name email and said, hey, I got an email, it's a little strange. Was this from you? It wasn't. So, I made sure not. Any other questions?
Did you say we have an operator that was hired, is that within? On the bank, or is that off the street?
So we are currently in the process of hiring an operator. So it's been out for bid.
Out for bid?
Yes. Yep. So internal, correct.
We called it out, he took the lead position, that left the position, and then that went out for bids for other departments.
So will we be hiring any open applications in that department?
So, if in fact that goes to this person, then there will be an opening somewhere else, you go through the process over and over again, before you ever get to outside.
So we have to go through the bid process.
Oh, I understand, you have to go within before we go to the outside, that's what I was asking.
And we're nowhere close to being outside. We're nowhere close to being outside.
We're not.
The summer hires though are outside.
Summer, I understand. Thank you.
Thank you.
Jane? What's up, Chief? What do you think, huh?
Once I got up there. Sorry.
There's a couple things. Our school resource officer, Brandon Martin, just finished up teaching DARE. He taught lessons over 10 weeks to fifth graders here in Waterloo with SPPCS. Reached 176 kids. Hopefully, some of the teaching took effect and prosper. Week of May 5th, though, is having their graduation, where they get their t-shirts and their ice cream bars. And I just want to say, give thanks to Oddfellows who donated the money to purchase their t-shirts. And then an update to last month when I told you about the gaming machine burglary. So that two individuals responsible have been charged as an warrant, so they weren't arrested. That has changed. They've since been taken, one was taken into custody March 28th, the other on April 4th. So that brings nice closure to that event. Especially since the day is going to happen.
They're in St. Clair County.
They're in St. Clair County, yes. And that is all I have.
I will say, Officer Burton is going to do, I'm on a committee, if he's gonna do some other, classes in the junior high. Right now, we're gonna do, depending on the grade level it is, but there's different classes with the cyberbullying and texting and baiting and all of that. So, those are gonna go on through all of Monroe County, but he will be the one doing it for Waterloo.
Excellent. Great. Yes. Yes, sir.
Same on burglary, does that ever settle?
And it wasn't from lack of effort, it was just, hang out with these.
And then RJ's 2000?
That happened?
Yes. Sure.
Yes. No, it's probably on social media.
I just thought, no, like everyone said, so not really.
Yeah.
Experience it, it's
Was it a good experience or?
she was that, but.
That was good.
And if it won't 100, that's always good.
That's good. That's always good.
Anything else?
They came by me twice, so I figured they were enjoying themselves.
Sure they were. All right, thank you.
Thank you. Abby? Normally yeah, I normally incorporate mine into that. There's actually a number of things that I want to bring up tonight. The first one is actually committee meeting minutes, which I believe Rob said that in Ohio. So if you are the chair of a committee and you're trying to take notes and run the committee, sometimes it's a meeting for a long, it can be kind of a problem. So what it suggests is that Michelle normally attends almost all the committee meetings, but she would take the minutes for all of the meetings and do that. Currently, the committee meetings, so if you are, the prices change. So if you are chair, and you get $50 if you are just a member, you get $35 as of May 1st. It goes $75 for a member, $100 for the chair. So and I am attached to every committee. There's only 20 meetings per quarter because you have to get paid for it. So if you add Michelle to every committee to allow her to take notes, then you can decide basically how you would like to pay her. Would she be at the $75 rate, which is a member, or something different? If she was at the $75 rate, the maximum number the meetings that she could attend and get paid for, actually get paid for a year, would be about $1,800, so. Not on,
Who sets those rates?
I'm sorry,
Who sets those rates?
you did.
When did you increase
They were voted on.
They were voted on right before you came on.
Okay.
It has to be 2 years in advance.
Okay, so did you tell me again, sorry. She could get how much per, did you say year or quarter? I just missed that part.
So you can only get paid for, you only get paid for a maximum of 12 committee meetings in a quarter.
In a quarter, okay, that's the part I missed.
Yeah. And generally, we have been having that many lately, but if things slow down, we won't have here that many. So there's a maximum number that she would be paid for, just like everyone else, so. I'd like to talk on if you would like to do this. If so, then.
Michelle, do you want to do this?
I asked her first.
As long as you're on board, you're $75 a meeting and move on.
That's true.
Okay, so.
Or, Michelle, is that adequate for you, or?
Whatever you, I mean, we just run the board, you're the council.
So it would be the ordinance committee meeting, which you will need to have, next Monday.
We make that 10 minutes.
Can you take it back?
All right, well, ordinance. We'll do that, there's something else coming up that I need to.
Actually, there were several things on that. Actually, there's going to be, with 4 meetings prior to next Monday. And that would be beautification, drainage, ordinance, and finance. This one should be relatively quick unless you have something else. I think there is something else that should go on there. I haven't written down the numbers.
And you mentioned a max of 1,800.
I think, when I figured that,
36, you get 12 per quarter, $75
I think that's
per.
what it is, 12.
Okay, so 12 times 75 times 4 is 36.
30. But that would be the maximum amount you can pay on
Is the
a
chair,
year.
is the chair still at 100 or then bumped down to 75?
No, chair would be at 100, beginning in May. Right now it's 50 and 35.
I don't know.
Should I get paid?
That's enough.
Make a motion, Jim, if you don't think it is, I guess.
I can't make it work hard enough. Are you okay with?
Oh, absolutely.
We're taking names? Or did you figure out the rest of it? As long as you're okay with it.
I don't know, I'll take it, minutes meeting, I guess it's.
You can do it.
Yeah, there you go, I'll do it.
I feel like you're
And you do 75.
Right.
Oh.
So, order to be next Monday, and that's one of the things, okay? I would also,
Immediately or 2 years down the road.
well, no, because we're not actually changing what she's saying. It's actually, it's actually elected, so yes, she can't vote on it. So, I would also like to, create a, property committee. So, the city owns a lot of properties, and just like the, when we were looking at the fitness center, application for the, Trailer Park, property, that actually probably should look to some type of committee to decide how we're actually going to use all of our properties. Because we have 4 acres in Lugel, that the only thing we're doing is paying our guys to mow it. Our, trailer park, we're paying someone to mow it. Could they be used for other things? They absolutely could. But I think we just need to create a property committee meeting to see what needs to be done on those properties. So, okay, there will also be an ordinance committee meeting to create another ordinance.
And you told them what, try to be right?
The property committee. There's a property maintenance committee out there that never meets, that has nothing to do with our property. Property maintenance, for other people's property, like when there's an issue for like Brad.
We're not smaller, or it's
I think the first year or so that I was here, it did me a couple of times, but, anyway. So moving forward, and that will also be on the ordinance. I would also like to look at, for this committee to look at acquiring two properties. One of them would be 4th Street and North Moore, the old apartment building. Right now, I think it's contract with the under Christie Morris right now. That piece of property there, and one more, is actually the only thing that is standing in the city's way of basically owning that entire area back there. So I don't know if that property is for sale. I think Nathan has asked Christie about it in the past. It's probably something that we should explore in order to protect the city from someone else using it for something that we don't want. The other one is actually the long garage behind Lehman Street that belongs to Ed and Susie Stanglin. I talked with him about 3 months ago. He didn't say he wouldn't sell it to us, he just needs a lot more space in there now. Brad and I actually went by and looked at it's actually, it looks good on the outside, but it's really an old building. And it has some structural issues, I believe. We probably wouldn't want to use it for anything other than to acquire properties because it's set in the middle of all of our properties. And the other thing, they push everything we don't have. So that property in the 4th and Moore, it was actually owned all of that. And then when the 2 Lehman Street properties go away, then the people are manufacturing and own all of that, or to be usable. The next largest thing, assuming that we did at least a portion of this, the street department building is horrible. I mean, horrible. It is old, it's been there forever. And actually I would propose, not in this fiscal year, coming fiscal year, but maybe the one after, and we built a new building at North Moore, actually beside your old property there, where you used to live, facing Moore Street, and that would actually be the face of the Public Works Department in the city of Waterloo. So right now, when we get calls in the city hall for something, then they try to radio to each individual area in order to get that. Actually, those calls probably should go to Public Works, which would reside down there, and then they handle that. So a new building would be street department, all of the entrances that, all of our vehicles would come in from the west to the backside of it. We still use the area behind it in order to do our dirt and asphalt that we actually use. And really clean that area and make it look good. Also, I in looking at our properties, I couldn't find a consolidated list of properties that we own. So, and we own quite a few properties. We own some of our lift stations, the property that they're on, and some of them that we don't. So the older ones that's out there, we own those small pieces of property. Actually, on Lakeview, across from your dad, that's actually a rather sizable property, not usable. We own that property, we own one North Moore, on South Library by Kenny Hartman. And the newer ones, we don't actually own them. But I don't believe we have a consolidated list of properties that we own, which would probably be very helpful to our property committee and all that stuff, and how we do things with it. We get utility bills from all the lift stations and most everything else. So you can, I don't know, we get 40 utility bills about that.
Maybe a few more.
I'm sorry.
Said maybe a few more. It's around there.
Around 40, 50 utility bills. Some of those we own, some of them we don't. It's just kind of difficult to tell. I think we just need to clean all that up, determine what we own, what we do not own, and basically give that to a property committee to see how it needs to move forward. Okay? And I think that's all I do have. Questions about any of that? Okay, thank you. Number 14, committee reports. A, those were previously approved. B, the March 17, 25 finance committee meeting.
Should have that minutes in front of you. We'll make a motion to approve minutes. I'll make the motion second.
Second.
Joe, all in favor? Opposed?
C, the April 25 water sewer.
Everybody should have a copy of the water sewer committee minutes. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Have a second? Second. Thank you, Jim and Russ. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
And D, April 7th, 25 orders.
Everybody should have a copy. Got a motion to approve the minutes written?
Motion.
Thank you, Mr. Most. Second.
Second.
Mr. Hopkins, thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
So do we have the minutes for beautification or no? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. April 7th, 25 beautification.
Anybody have any questions on minutes? Can I get a motion to approve the minutes from April
So
7th?
moved.
Say a second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? And we're approved.
And F, April 7th, 25 planning committee meeting.
I'll look for a motion to approve.
Is that motion?
Gary, second.
I'll second.
Dina, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Thank you. Number 15, comment. Bobby.
Man, I will yield back to you. Would you tell the group about prayer breakfast coming up? And who's the contact for the city that we could go together as a group?
Sarah sent that out today.
Oh,
Well, I sent it internally. I haven't sent it to this group yet.
You said it internally?
Yeah. I still need to send it to this group.
Okay.
But
Sarah?
Jamie first, go ahead.
Actually, as soon as she gets it back internally, and she'll send it out externally to everyone.
No, it'll be ready the first at 8 a.m. at Hope Church.
Yep.
So let's go as a group.
But it says that went out today. Actually, I think I got it in the mail.
Yesterday. Or Friday. You put it on my desk.
I put it on your
It
desk.
is a Thursday. It's a Thursday.
May 1st. Yeah.
And then the other thing, my dear Russell, is this your last utility?
Yes.
I wish you were ready.
Well, thank you.
I do. And I wish you well. That's it.
My dear Russell.
Absolutely, absolutely.
I don't have anything this evening.
Hard to follow my Yeah?
Nothing, sir.
Yeah?
No, sir.
My dear Russell?
Approve with excellent, my last utility. Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
It was close. It was second on my list.
We will miss you in the utilities and we'll see you again before the end of that. So, I don't actually have anything else. Motion to adjourn. Second? All those in favor, aye? Aye.